You've made the major decision to move to a new city that you don't know very much about. You are excited about the transition, but you have to find the right place to live. The question that gets posed to me over and over with people in this situation is, should I rent before I buy? There is no one answer to this question, so today I'm going to break down both sides in an attempt to help you figure out which is best for you. Hey everybody, this is Melanie Atkinson, realtor with Smith & Associates in beautiful Tampa Bay, Florida, and today I'm excited to address one of the most frequently asked questions that I get. Should I rent before I buy? I know that moving to a new city can be really stressful. There's a lot to figure out, and housing is at the top of that list. You don't know the neighborhoods or the schools, the reality of commute times, or where you're gonna wanna spend your free time. It takes time to get to know an area. So should you make the commitment of buying a house right away, or should you rent for a year and get to know the area a little bit better before you buy? I think logically, it seems like a no-brainer. You should rent first to get to know the area, then buy something. But depending on your circumstances, that may not be the right answer for you. So let's look at both sides of this dilemma. What is your time frame for moving? How much time do you have before you have to be settled into your new city? If you're being relocated for a job, your employer may need you to be in that city within the next few months. That isn't a lot of time to get to know an area, even if you take some time to visit and go house hunting. You still may not feel comfortable buying something. If you are crunched for time, then taking a breath and renting may be your best option. However, if you're planning your move well in advance, then you have more time to get to know your new city. Visit there multiple times, not necessarily to go house hunting, but to get to know the area as a whole. Visit on weekends as well as weekdays so you can get an idea of the commute times and traffic. Visit during different seasons so you can get an idea of the weather. Talk to locals and real estate professionals to get an idea of neighborhoods and then drive through them. Do your online research on house prices, neighborhood safety, and distance to places that you know that you will frequent. If you have the time to do all of this and a neighborhood or area emerges that you really like and you really feel comfortable in, then you can be more confident about your choice to buy a home. So next question for you. How do you feel about your job? Are you starting a new job with a new company when you move? Are you feeling a little antsy about your career choice and you may want to make a change? If either of these are true, you're probably going to want to rent until you figure those things out. Make sure you like your new employer and your new position before you make the commitment to buy a home. On the other hand, if you're moving to a new city with an employer and a career that you know that you love, then you don't have to worry so much about buying a home because hopefully you won't be looking for a job in the near future. Next question, do you have kids? Because I work a lot in the suburbs of Tampa, I see people struggle with this a lot. They have school-aged kids and they don't want to rent in one area for a year and then have to move their kids the next year to a new school. And that's absolutely a legitimate concern, but there are rental options in the areas where there's great school zones too. So conceivably, you could rent for a year there and your kids maybe wouldn't have to move schools if you decided to buy in that same area. It's a win-win, right? Maybe not. Speaking of the Tampa market in general, the areas where they have the best school zones, good rentals can be really hard to find and expensive. There are a lot of families that want to be in those areas, so your only options may be an apartment or a small home. And maybe the size of that rental just isn't something that you and your family are going to be comfortable in for a year. 2 kids in a 1,200 square foot 4th floor apartment may feel like really close quarters after a few months. And if you happen to have beloved family pets, that may make it even harder to find a good rental in these neighborhoods because a lot of landlords are going to have pet size restrictions or breed restrictions. If you want to be able to paint your kids' bedrooms and let them make friends with their neighbors, then you may be better off buying. The key here, as with everything, is to do your research and to enlist the help of a real estate professional that has extensive local knowledge. Don't rely solely on school rating websites. Visit schools and talk to the administration and talk to other parents. If you aren't worried about school zones or living in close quarters with your kids, then renting is a great option to get to know the area first. What do your finances look like? Sometimes buying is not an option financially. If you can't qualify for a mortgage right now or want to save more money for a down payment, then renting is your choice. That's an easy one. However, if you do have money for a down payment and you can qualify for a loan, then there are a few things you should consider. Interest rates at the time that this episode is being released are historically very low. Now, I don't think they're going to jump up too dramatically in the next year, but if interest rates are a concern of yours, then buying now may be a great option for you. Also, if you happen to be moving to an area where housing prices are increasing rapidly, then buying now may be a better option than waiting a year where houses can be 8 to 10% higher in price. Next question for you is, are you an experienced homeowner? Let's face it, if you have been a homeowner for a long time, you may not be very comfortable being a renter, even if it's just temporary. Maybe you aren't used to sharing walls with your neighbors or hearing somebody above you walk around. Maybe you don't want to have to ask somebody to change your living space cosmetically. If you like having the freedom that comes with home ownership, then buying in your new city may be a better option for you. However, maybe you have been a homeowner for a long time and you don't want to have to deal with the maintenance of owning a home again. As a renter, you probably won't have to worry about home repairs or basic home maintenance. That's the landlord's problem, right? And finally, do you have a relocation package? I have had a lot of clients move to the Tampa Bay area with very generous relocation packages from their employers. Some of these packages pay for moving expenses and closing costs if they do decide to buy a home. Those packages often have an expiration date. So if you're being offered thousands of dollars that can go towards the purchase of a home, then you may not want them to expire while you're renting. That doesn't mean you shouldn't rent if you don't feel like you're ready to buy something. That just means you need to be aware of the expiration dates. Maybe you should rent for a shorter period of time instead of signing a year lease. And if you know you do want to rent for a while, then I would talk to your employer while you're negotiating your relocation package and see if that expiration date can be extended. Whether you decide to rent or buy when you move to a new city is a personal decision. There are people that will argue strongly on both sides of this issue. For some people, creating a permanent home for themselves and their family is a really important part of integrating into their new city, so they choose to buy. But for others, renting for a while is the best choice for them as they get to know the area. I can tell you that when I work with relocation clients, they're often very, very stressed when they get here to go house hunting. By the end of their trip, they usually feel much better about the situation because I've been able to answer their questions for them. Enlisting the help of a knowledgeable real estate professional can really help you as you're moving to a new city. Take your time, do your research. Whatever you decide will be the right choice for you. I hope this helped all of you that are struggling with whether to rent or buy in your new city. If you're looking to buy or sell in the Tampa Bay area, give me a call. I'm happy to help. And if you're looking for something else to watch on this channel, check out my video called Safe Neighborhoods. That will give you some tools to do some research on which neighborhoods are the safest. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. With love, Melanie.